Hello. Hey folks, thanks for coming out of the house to come see our little show. We're actually shocked and pleased to see so many of you and to have people to play for. It's been 3 lonely years of COVID for us, and we're glad to get out of the house ourselves. We're really glad to get out of California, and we're grateful. We're grateful to be playing for you today. Grateful to just even be, alive. So we're all celebrating. You're part of the celebration. We're the Hot Club of San Francisco, as you can see by our flag over there. Shamelessly, honestly stealing from Django Reinhardt and the Hot Club of France, just so we can get to know you all. Real quick, little market survey. Round of applause if you've ever heard of Django Reinhardt before tonight. Okay. That sounds like it's about half the audience. So for the rest of you, we don't want to exclude or intimidate or alienate anybody. I'll give you the nickel tour. This music, the genre is called gypsy jazz because it was invented by a gypsy. His name was Django Reinhardt. Say it with me, Django Reinhardt. And it has nothing to do with Quentin Tarantino. It has absolutely nothing to do with that whole dealio. Django was a gypsy, born in a gypsy wagon, if you can let your imagination go there. Born in a gypsy wagon that was on the move. It was literally rolling when his mother gave birth to him. He was a child prodigy. He played all the stringed instruments, but he really gravitated towards the guitar before the guitar was the ubiquitous instrument that we know it to be today. The word ubiquitous is a French word, one of our vocabulary. It means ubiquitous in English. So. It's a cultural landslide that we bring to you today, this afternoon. So there was a band that Django started with a violin player that you may be familiar with. His name was Stéphane Grappelli. And it was the quintet of the Hot Club of France, which is why we call ourselves the Quintet of the Hot Club of San Francisco. I started the band 34 years ago, and that joke is still not funny. The song that we just played for you is called Swing Gitane. Gitane, of course, is a word for gypsy. The gypsies that actually invented this music, this gypsy jazz that we're playing for you, were manouche gypsies, which is a specific type of gypsy, and Django was a manouche. So this is all going to be on the test. You might want to jot down a few notes. We're going to play a song for you now that was actually composed by Django Reinhardt. He was a prolific composer, another French word that means he wrote a lot of songs. He was prolific, and that was unusual. Not only was it unusual to play guitar in the 1930s, because the guitar was considered a support instrument, but Django's format was similar exactly to what you see before you. 2 rhythm guitars instead of drums, acoustic bass, a violin instead of a trumpet or a saxophone, and a lead guitar instead of a saxophone or a clarinet or a trumpet. It was completely unusual in 1934 for this chamber kind of jazz to be put forward. So not only was Django a visionary with the band itself, the format, he was a visionary in that he composed a ton of tunes. And this song is one of his best, which is why we're going to play it early in the show, just so in case you have to leave early, you'll hear this is called nuage, which is a French word for clouds, like clouds in the sky.
With the intro, 1, 2, 1.
so much. It's a treat to play for people with good taste. You can see why we love this music so much. It's got a little bit of something for everybody. A little bit of brinksmanship, a little bit of mystery, a little bit of romance, a little bit of hot, a little bit of sweet. And this is probably as good a time as any for me to introduce to you my crack team of faux gypsies. We're not real gypsies, we're faux gypsies. Go ahead, count us, I'll wait. Yeah, okay. Yes. Comedy and music, it's a time-honored tradition. On the string bass tonight, folks, today. I'm still on California time. Dexter Williams on the string bass. Give it up, make some noise. We have two rhythm guitars, not because it looks so cool and sounds so fat, but we do it because that's how Django did it in the Hot Club of France. And our mission statement, ever since 1989 or whenever it was that I started this whole enterprise, was sort of a what would Django do approach to music. Because Django passed away before any of us in the band were born. He passed away at the age of 43 in 1953. So he didn't really get a chance to make a huge impact on the world because he only lived 43 years. But in those 43 years, he made a majorly huge impact on the world. So we have two rhythm guitars. And we have two of the best in America. This is Christoph Carrington and George Samuels on the rhythm guitar, making us sound like real gypsies. Real gypsies. And no gypsy jazz band would be worth anything without a great violin player. And we have a guy that's got 2 Grammys. So don't take my word for it. He's got, seriously, all seriousness aside, he's got 2 Grammys. Evan Zeppo Price on the violin, folks. And I'm your host, Paul Mailing. It's great to be here. Thank you so much. Thank you. So a few years ago, we made a recording. I guess you still call them recordings, a CD, but we also did it on vinyl called John, Paul, George, and Django. Any questions? You're the right demographic to get that joke. We didn't want to exclude Ringo, but it's more about the compositions of the Fab Four. And we're going to do one of those pieces for you now. And this is more fun for you if I don't tell you ahead of time what it is, but I'm sure you'll recognize it. And if you don't like it, there'll be another song right after it, so just stick around. Merci beaucoup, y'all. Merci beaucoup, all of you. So our next recording project is going to be a record of all original tunes, and we're going to debut a piece for you now. This is called Not Too Blue. We're kind of workshopping the title as well as the tune. So bear with us. I hope you like it. It's an all original by us. Good. They liked it. So glad you liked it. Good. We'll keep it in the program. This next song was written by Giannini Verdi. No, what? Yeah.
Sure.
Giannini Verdi. also known as Johnny Green.
Hold for laugh. Just making a note to myself.
That's a time release joke. It'll hit you on the drive home. When your spouse goes, Johnny Green, Giuseppe Verdi, get it? Giannini, Johnny. Anyways, this is a good one, as Louis Armstrong used to call familiar tunes. I don't think it's going to need any introduction, but I will tell you this, that because we're playing in the style of Django Reinhardt, one of the things that Django liked to do was to put his imprint on everything he played, every song he played. So when you stick it in the Django blender, it comes out all screwy. That's all I can say, but I think you'll recognize this. If you don't, there'll be another song right after that one, too. Thank you so much. I wrote that. No, that's the ever-popular Body and Soul. We're going to play one more song for you nice folks, and then we're going to have a little intermission so you can go call your friends and tell them to get down here and catch the second half of this show. But once again, we're just so delighted to play for such a well-behaved, well-dressed. Clearly you're well-educated because you're here, and what a great place this must be to live with all this natural beauty around you and all this support for the arts. So we really want to thank the people who invited us to be here because I understand you have quite a lot of good music in this area. So thank you. And thank you. Be sure to come back after intermission. We'll have CDs for sale, and you can buy the CDs and take us home and impress your friends, scare your grandchildren, whatever you want to do with those CDs. But please do come back because we're going to do some even kookier, funnier. There'll be funnier jokes for sure. This is one of the newer songs we do. This one was written by a contemporary living gypsy named Dorado Schmidt, and he wrote this with his friend Ludovic Bayer. This is called Entre Amis, which means between friends.
Honestly, it does. It really does.
Hey folks, welcome back. Thanks for coming back. You are the same people from the first hour, right? Okay, good. Because we're from Northern California, we really appreciate you sitting in the same seats. That's really thoughtful because being as we are from Northern California, we're extremely susceptible to changes in the feng shui in the rooms. You'd be surprised how that joke does not work in the flyover states. It's just, it gets really awkward. Here's a tune written by Django. You might think it's just blues in E flat, but he called it swing time and springtime. And it's April and I'm feeling spring in the air.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Thanks so much. We're going to do another tune that we're workshopping for that record of all original tunes now. This is one that Evan, our violinist, wrote. This is called... Well, his nickname is Zeppo, so we call it Zeppo's Blues, or he's going to play it all on the string. It's the G string, no joke. You know, you may be familiar... The thong is ended, but the melody lingers on. He, you know, there's a Bach, you've heard of Johann Sebastian Bach. He had a piece called Air on a G string, and so Evan's gonna do this. This is blues on a G string, except it's in the key of C, but not really. It's still on the G. Yeah, it's anyway, so I know those of you in the cheap seats may not be able to see, but he's gonna do a lot of this melody just on one string, and it's really hard. He makes it sound easy, but it's really hard if you've ever played violin. Anyways, Blues on a G string by Evan Zeppo Price.
It's not the point. But now you...
Yeah, it's that short. So the next song we're gonna
Take it away, Doctor.
Yeah.
Blues on a G string. And I cleaned that one up. All right, so we're going to do another original tune. This one has a fun little story. My wife and I rescue cats, and we have a house full of boy cats. We have 7 indoors and 10 outdoors. But we have one little girl cat, and she's a little tiny thing, and she does not put up with any BS.
And I cleaned that up.
From the guys, from the sausage fest house that she lives in. So, in spite of her fierceness and her diminutive stature, she rules the roost, but she rules with a dainty little fist. So this is called Dainty, and I send this out to my little cat. Zazu.
Dexter's got it.
Dexter's got it.
Dainty. Dainty. You have to see her to appreciate how. Anyways, we're going to do another original tune. This one is written by Evan. So glad you're enjoying these original tunes. You're an awesome audience, and that's not just good alliteration. I mean it. Awesome audience. So Evan wrote this next tune. It's called Le Jongleur, which is French for, you may think, somebody who's got a lot of balls in the air.
And I cleaned that one up.
But this actually, the jongleur is the vein in your neck that pops out when you're really stressing to remember all the chords that you're trying to improvise over or against. So here we go. That's the story behind the song. And now the song itself. Can you feel the excitement? Le Jongleur.
Take it away, doctor. Oh, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. That's really supportive of our little endeavor. Like I say, we're still workshopping these tunes, so you guys are part of the project now. You're all signing off on this. We're going to do a romantical song now for those of you who walked in holding hands. You know who you are. Maybe you're not in love right now. But, you know, we don't want to exclude anybody, so maybe you've been in love at some point in your life. Or maybe you're just merely old enough to, you know, if you're a younger person, maybe you're just old enough to know how to spell the word love. Or maybe you just have cats. I don't know, you know, we're an all-inclusive kind of a band. We don't like to shun anybody, but...
When I hear that serenade in blue, I'm somewhere in another world alone with you, sharing all the joy we used to know many moons ago. Once again your face comes back to me, just like the theme of some forgotten melody in the album of my memory, Serenade in Blue. It seems like only yesterday, a small cafe, a crowded floor, and as we danced the night away, I heard you say forevermore, and then the song became a sigh. Forevermore became goodbye, and you remain in my heart. So tell me, darling, is there still a spark, or only lonely ashes of a flame we knew? Should I go on whistling in the dark, serenade in blue? Like only yesterday, a small cafe, a crowded floor, and as we danced the night away, I heard you say forevermore, and then the song became a sigh. Forevermore became goodbye, and you remained in my heart. So tell me, darling, is there still a spark, or only lonely ashes of a flame we knew? Should I go on whistling in
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you so much. You know, the time always catches up with us, and there's an old showbiz saying, it's better to have too little of a good thing than too much. But the clock has caught us. There's nothing we'd rather be doing right now than playing for all of you. Each of you, you've been a delightful audience. I wish I had brought my camera. You're just a textbook example of a perfect audience. Thanking you from the string bass chair is Dexter Williams. Make some noise for Dexter. Some love for our faux gypsies, Christoph Carrington and Jordan Samuels. Evan Price on the violin, can you believe it? We're gonna get out of here and send you off with a good old good one, another tune that needs no introduction. You, dear, take my lips, I'll never use them. Why don't you take my arms? Who are they gonna hold if you refuse them? Your goodbye left me with eyes that cry. How can I go on, dear, without big fat you? You took the part that once was my heart, so baby, take all of me, don't leave me here to suffer. Leave me here to suffer, dear, come tell me the truth now. I wanna know, could you go away and leave me here to try to find a way somehow? I pray each night, Lord, send my lover back. How I miss her, long to kiss her through the night and hold her tight until she wakes up at dawn. But tell me, how can I? My baby went and said goodbye, left me here to cry. Now I know that I must blow because my baby took a stroll without her letting me know. She took a stroll and then she also took my heart and soul. The train on the track to bring my
baby, back my plea. Why don't you take all of me? And so I'm pleading. Come on back, pretty baby, come back. Don't you know I can't go on to live alone without you? I beg you, darling, won't you think about my fate before it's too late? Don't be mean, I'll go insane. You don't want to have a crazy person on your conscience. I'll never make it by because you went and took all inspiration to try. You walked out rather hastily, drove me nearly crazy, got me crying like a baby. No ambition, care for nothing at all. Oh, I can't get you off my mind, dream of you all the time. Must you be mean and so unkind? You've heard my plea, I want to be free. Come back, and take all of me.
Is everybody good?
Thank you so much. That's our show for tonight. Thanks for coming out. We love every one of you for being here. And we welcome the latecomers. Come on in and tell us your names. There's two more. I can wait. Oh, don't talk while you're walking. That's important. Okay, so welcome to our little show. Thank you for coming out of the house. We really appreciate having people to play for, because improvised music like this without an audience is just self-indulgence on our part. We bring you the music of the Gypsies of France circa 1930 and beyond, as spearheaded by the great gypsy jazz guitarist Django Reinhardt. Round of applause if you already know who that is. That's great. It's good to know he's got family here in Oregon. Sounds like that's about 70% of the audience. So for the rest of you who don't know who Django is, I'll give you the nickel tour. He's a gypsy, child prodigy, virtuoso, maybe the first guitar virtuoso in jazz. And he invented this genre that we call gypsy jazz, or in France they call it jazz manouche, manouche being another word for gypsy. He had a band called the Hot Club of France with a violin partner named Stéphane Grappelli, who you may be familiar with. Okay, good. He's got less family here. But, and that's the reason why we call our band the Hot Club of San Francisco. It's true. It's true. 34 years and that joke is still not funny. Clearly, note to self, just strike joke about. So, as I say, we bring you the music and the instrumentation. What you see before you is what the Hot Club of France looked like. Not your typical jazz band, certainly not for 1934 when they debuted in Paris. Django figured it out that a guitar, if it's going to be heard, doesn't need drums, doesn't need piano, and doesn't need to have trumpets and saxophones and trombones and clarinet, all the usual, typical, I should say, jazz instruments. He was an atypical kind of personality, this Django guy. So we have two rhythm guitars instead of a drum set, for instance, and we have lead guitar and violin instead of the usual horns. And Django figured that out. Like I say, he didn't sit down one day and go, I'm going to invent a new string quartet or quintet. He just did what came natural. He was kind of a genius, and he was also, well, I don't know how to say this politely, but let's just say music was his thing. The rest of life was really difficult for him, like so many jazz musicians, like so many jazz musicians. He spent all his money. He was illiterate, like most gypsies, couldn't read or write, so he couldn't take the metro. They have fantastic metro, public transportation in Paris. He couldn't take it because he couldn't read the signs. All right, so I digest. That's enough about Django. The song that we just played was, of course, Fats Waller's Honeysuckle Rose. Some of you recognize it. We're going to play a composition now by Django. This is called Nuage, which means clouds, like clouds in the sky. It's one of his most beautiful compositions, Nuage.
1, 2, 1. Yeah.
You can see why we love this music so much. It's got something for everybody. It's got a little bit of daring do, a little bit of romance, a little bit of mystery, a lot of hot, a lot of brinksmanship, and yet still some exquisite beauty. And those are some adjectives that just begin to describe the genius of this gypsy guy, Django Reinhardt. When I started this band 34 years ago, I used to ask the audience, round of applause if you know who Django is, and honestly, almost nobody knew. I don't know what you guys have in the water here in Redmond, or if you just had good parents with good record collections, but good on you, those of you who already knew. And the rest of you, now you're experts in Django Reinhardt. You can sit down next to somebody on a plane and say, hey, you ever heard of the Hot Club of San Francisco? And I guarantee you that person's gonna get up and move to another seat. You're welcome. It's a public service that we do for you with our cultural landslide of information, jokes, and smattering of French vocabulary. So that was Nuage. We made a record a few years ago called John, Paul, George, and Django. Any questions? Okay, good. So we're gonna do a song from that now. We didn't mean to leave Ringo out, and people often try to pin us down about that, and it's really more about the compositions of the Beatles, of the Fab Four, of the Merseyside Manouche, as we like to call them. But it's not about the Beatles so much as about the beautiful compositions that they did. And the similarity between Django Reinhardt and the Gypsies playing jazz and these really from the wrong side of the tracks kids in England just creating completely new music from the raw material that came before them, namely blues and skiffle music and whatnot. It's a really interesting compare and contrast because there's a lot of similarities between the Gypsies of France in the 30s and these guys from Liverpool in the 1960s. It's kind of fun. So anyways, I'm not going to tell you what the song is. It's funner for you if we don't.
Or not. You may not like this at all.
I'd like to say I wrote that. I'm not going to say it this time. So, this is probably a good time for me to introduce the band.
Christoph, this is Dexter. Dexter, this is Christoph.
Comedy and music. Together again. So, thanking you for coming out today from the string bass chair in the band, Dexter Williams. Give some love to Dexter back there. He's pretty good. And we have two rhythm guitars, as I mentioned, because not because it looks so symmetrical, and not because it sounds so fat, P-H-A-T, because it's how Django did it in the original Hot Club of France. And our mission statement, if you can go there with me, our mission statement all these years has always been kind of what the world might be like if Django had not passed away in 1953 before any of us was born. Sort of a what would Django do approach. Hold for laugh. Okay, so those of you who think that what would Django think is funny, we just want you to know Django loves you. We're gonna have special Django incense. So we have two of the finest rhythm guitarists in America, Christoph Carrington and Jordan Samuels, making us sound like real gypsies. And of course, no stranger to Redmond, Oregon. We call him Monsieur Zeppo, Evan Zeppo Price on the violin, folks.
Why would he never do his fingers leave his hands?
And I'm your host tonight, Paul Mailing. It's great to be here. I love you. Thank you. So this next song is an original. We're going to make our next recording is going to be an all originals kind of record. And so we're workshopping a few of these tunes, and you get to be unwittingly the guinea pigs for us. If you don't like the song, feel free to let us know. Throw whatever you want to throw the person next to you, or if you happen to have canned tomatoes. This is a song, it's kind of a blues. It's kind of a blues, but it's not too. So we call it Not Too Blue.
it.
Cool. Okay, so that's a thumbs up. Thank you for that. So glad that we can pull something original out for you. A lot of audiences would have walked out. We only lost one on that one, so that's good. That's good. We're going to do a more familiar tune now, written by Hoagy Carmichael. No, just the lyrics? Hoagy Carmichael. The guy is fantastic lyricist and composer. So good they named a sandwich after him. Like, how often does that happen? I mean, there's the Earl of Hamburger and Hoagy Carmichael, as far as I know. This is another one of those songs that needs no introduction. Louis Armstrong used to call songs like this good old good ones. So I'm not going to tell you what it's called. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's really a treat for us to play for people with good taste once in a while. So we're going to play one more song, and I think, right? Yeah. And then we're going to give you a chance to stand and stretch, talk to your neighbor, maybe ask them how many of the Hot Club of San Francisco CDs they have. Which reminds me, we have CDs for sale out there. And we're going to be happy to meet you after the show and autograph them if you want. Word to the wise, the CDs don't play in stereo if we don't sign them. Don't make that mistake. So we'll be glad to meet you and answer any questions you may have. They don't have to be about Django or about music. They could be about car repair or relationship difficulties. You can ask us anything. We're going to do this song now. This is written by Johnny Mandel for the great saxophone player Al Cohn. If you know Al Cohn, he was one of the four brothers in the Woody Herman herd back in the 1940s and 50s. Al Cohn, his nickname was El Cajon, and there happens to be a town called El Cajon, and Dave Frischberg decided to write lyrics to this melody by Johnny Mandel. Who's Johnny Mandel, you may ask? And, well, you should. Johnny Mandel wrote the theme for MASH. You guys all know that, so you know who Johnny Mandel is now. I think he wrote The Shadow of Your Smile, too, I think. But anyways, I digest. So we're going to do this song, and then we're going to take a 15-minute intermission and come back and regale you with some more gypsy jazz.
In El Cajon, she said she'd like to stay. In El Cajon, we danced the night away. And I, despite all the things I had heard, I was all too glad to swallow every word. And come the rosy dawn, I found to my distress my love had gone, no forwarding address. What's done is done. Now I'm the lonely one who's left alone in El Cajon, without a car, without a phone. In El Cajon. side hoid. I was all too glad to swallow every void, and come the rosy dawn, I found to my distress my love had gone. Oh, forwarding address. What's done is done. Now I am the lonely one who's left alone in El Cajon with just a whiff of her cologne. In El Cajon, I don't deserve to be alone. In El Cajon, without a car, without a phone. In El Cajon, yeah, it really stinks to be alone. In El Cajon. Thank you. Thank you. We'll be right back.
Back, folks. So you may notice a little change in the orchestra. It's a time-honored tradition for bands to play poker in the dressing room, and you'll never guess who lost. If you see the other three guys, just push them towards the stage. So Evan and I are going to do a little duet because that's what Django Reinhardt and Stéphane Grappelli used to do back in the Hot Club of France days. So we thought if it's good enough for them, we'll try it. We're going to do a tune that Django recorded many, many, many times. It's a piece by from the Peer Gynt Suite. Yeah, I know, it's all Grieg to me. Edvard Grieg, to be exact. This is a thing that Django used to call fantasy on a Norwegian dance.
Thank you. We welcome back to the stage the prestigious rhythm section.
What a great audience you are. I can't wait to tell my mom.
And now,
A song by Django Reinhardt. This is called Swing Time in Springtime.
What? Two. You. What? To do. 2, 3.
They don't write them like that anymore, folks.